Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Tats. Me with Rob Donald. We will be breaking down the series with the Twins, the denial of the sweep, and what kind of lineup was that they put out. But is it really anybody's fault? We'll be breaking that all down on Pitch Strike Chronicles. All right, welcome back. I am Tats again, Rob Donald, and I want to start off with that lineup yesterday.
So good, we had to say it twice.
Yep, it's one of those you're looking at the lineup and you're going, "What the hell kind of lineup is this? Are they even trying anymore?" And then you look at the guys on the IL, you look at the guys that were on the bench, and you're like, "Yeah, this is pretty much the best we got." And they're gonna have to figure out something really quick because the series coming up with the Rays is not going to be an easy one, and they need to keep that distance as the Rays still have a very tough month to finish out the year. So, what do you think the Yankees can do in such a fast turnaround from game to game to improve the quality of the lineup?
Well, assuming that pinch hit was a good sign that Stanton's okay, at least you can DH him. Could get Donaldson back too, although I don't want to see him anymore, but it's at least a DH option. So that's really your only options right now until LeMahieu and Rizzo are ready to come off the IL. Unless we get Bader, but what can you really expect out of Bader when he comes? He's just, kind of that, at least right now, he'd be a singles guy also. So it's really getting healthy, and for now, it's hoping that Stanton can at least swing 4 times a game.
Yeah, it sucks that he struck out in that at bat, but when you saw the way he was fouling off pitches, it wasn't a 3-pitch strikeout where you were like, that was just a waste of a move. It gave me a little bit of comfort that one, he was able to step into the box. I think that was important because we were wondering when they were going to give him a chance to get at the plate, and to just battle out the way that he did not make it easy for it wasn't an easy out for the pitcher. So I think that's something that's got to be taken as a positive. Donald, what do you think?
I think that the fact that we're semi-celebrating the fact that he made it to the box is probably not a great sign. I think we should focus more on the game itself. The lineup, there's nothing we can do about because of the injuries. Listen, we were celebrating it yesterday because it allowed the opportunity for Ozzy and the two Aussies and Florial to get game time. So we know that there isn't a first baseman in the system. Marwin Gonzalez is our first baseman until Rizzo's back or until LeMahieu heals his toe. But I don't think his toe is going to get healed until the offseason. So this is kind of what we have. We hope that LeMahieu comes back and is a semblance to the hitter that he was. But the injuries are certainly significant, but I certainly don't wish to make it an excuse. Because for me, the problems existed long before these injuries started to occur.
Well, isn't it safe to say more of an explanation than an excuse when you're looking at the names in the lineup and on the bench? There's got to be you got to find some type of rhyme or reason to it, and they haven't been able to really.
My man Tony Clark. What's up, Donald? Big series starts tonight, my bro. Thanks so much for tuning in again, Tony. We'll really appreciate you following us, man. So big appreciation. Yeah, big series. Tampa Bay. I don't have the highest expectations, let's be honest.
No, we're gonna get into the Rays series, definitely. But with last night, it was one of the doesn't it feel like we went back towards like with the beginning of the year, where even though it was a really, it sucks to lose, it wasn't an embarrassing loss like we were seeing over the last month or so.
And yeah, we didn't get helped either. I hate blaming umpires, but that last
The
inning
umpires
was pretty bad. Glaber walked about 3 pitches before he struck out. They had that weird call at first, or Peralta clearly had the ball. I've never heard of a juggling rule in baseball. Like this is the NFL or something now. So,
Yeah, let's get into that. So the replays. The replays kind of suggested that he beat him to the bag, right?
I thought so. I
he
thought
looked
that
out.
was that should have been an out call. I don't know what you could see the ball. Yeah, the ball might not have been in his glove, but it was pinned against his body. So are we now using the same logic as in football as far as what's considered possession? That was the big question that was coming up a lot after the fact. I just think that New York blew the replay. I think it's that simple. They just weren't looking at what we were. I don't know what they were looking at.
He looked out. That's all I know. Like it's annoying when they came up with the explanation. So you're thinking, okay, if that's the rule, you really can't get too upset about it. But I just have never heard that because we've always seen is the ball in his glove. They never said, well, he's got to have possession of it. I've never heard that in baseball. So that was the annoying part. And I'm like, he's out. And then that led to Correa hitting the home run. And that we would have won the game had that not happened. So, and then you think about Glaber's at bat, it would have drove in a run. Bases were loaded. So it was annoying because I hate blaming umpires when the team loses, but we really got shafted there.
Yeah, the Orioles, Blue Jays. Yeah, anytime you have Angel Hernandez involved, it's going to be a really bad call. But Angel Hernandez, he's just when a name is when an umpire's name becomes infamous, that's not a good thing. You're gonna have to have replays get the calls right, and that's the problem. They can't even get the calls right on the field, and now they're not even getting it right when they're replaying it through New York City. So what are we doing?
New York
Why even have the replay if you're not gonna? There are times they still can't get it right.
MLB umpiring is bad in general. And I don't know what they're going to do with these rule changes next year. That's another conversation, though. But it's been for far too long how bad they've been, like the missed calls at the plate with getting the replays wrong. And then you send it off to New York. So it's really it's out of the umpire's control at that point. And New York said he's safe. So they had to go, he's safe. So at that point, you really can't blame the umpires, but you can blame the whole system. You have a replay system, like you said on the comment, get it right. So I hate it that we have it. It happens in every sport too. You have a replay system and they still don't get the calls right. It's like, what's the point of it? I just hate that we had at bats taken away from us and had outs taken away from us. That should have been Peralta got him. He was out. Correa hit a home run the next at bat or whatever, 2 at bats later. And then Glaber should have been on first. The game should have been tied and we could have won on a walk-off. Instead, the umpire doesn't know what a strike zone is and he ends up striking out on the at-bat. So I hate that. I hate putting it on the umpires, but clearly yesterday you can say we didn't get any help.
Yeah, again, I hate the block of the plate rule. I really do.
It does. It leaves too many holes for interpretation. That's so true.
And the problem
deliberately ambiguous. That's what it is. It's deliberately ambiguous.
Yeah. It's the problem with the replay, and especially it was amplified last night with Wandy. They'll be able to overturn a call because their fingernail came off the bag, but that was not a catch. So how are they? Where are they? What are they looking for? They got to give a better explanation or a deeper explanation of why these calls are being overturned or not.
Loving the comments, guys. Thanks so much. Keep them coming.
But how can it just doesn't? I'll never figure out how they can get it so wrong all the time. Because when that when they're wrong, it does change the course of a game. You know, so they need to get these calls right, like you guys have been saying in the comments too. It's if you're not going to get if you're not going to get it right, then just put it back the way it was, and just this way they could just say it was a human element. Now we're blaming New York for the it's not just the umpires we're getting on that case, it's the oh yeah are you playing baseball or are you baking, you know? So yeah, the oven mitt. I know it's to protect their fingers, but that's just stupid.
It is stupid.
You know, like let's get back to
Yeah, let's get back to a point at some point.
So, what was the point?
Tyson just rambling away. He wasn't
I'm
quite
just
sure where he
rambling.
was going.
It's Friday. I need more coffee.
Let's talk about Nestor because he came back from the IL finally, and he looked pretty good up until he had a little bit of a hiccup in his last inning. But I think it was a good sign that he came back, and for the first 3 innings, he was throwing a no-hitter, 3-4 innings, and he looked fine. So that's definitely a good sign. I do think that at some point we're going to see that down the stretch. We could see with Sevy coming back some piggyback starts where, Nestor starts and Sevy comes out or vice versa. Maybe they use Herman and then go to Nestor. They could do something like that because we're going to have a lot of arms coming back soon. But definitely a good first sign for Nestor. What do you guys think?
I thought he looked really good. Obviously, he was mowing everybody down to start the game, and then I thought that the game plan was. Boone actually, I think, got it right by having him on the leash to begin with. He said in the pregame on the fan with Susan Wallman that he was going to have a 50 pitch limit, and that Clark Schmidt was going to be the guy that was available to take over for him, and he actually stuck to the plan. So, but Cortez coming back, I think it was the bigger positive of last night, because we do need to shore up this rotation and get everybody in their rhythm as we get deeper into the month, into October.
Yeah. Another positive, I think, that Clark Schmidt looked good, and he's looked a lot better out of the bullpen than as a starter. I think at this point he's just used to it. So I would hope for the rest of the year they just keep him in the bullpen. But this is exactly what I wanted to avoid early in the season. I said I wanted them to stick with one plan for him, and they've kind of juggled him around now, bullpen and starter. I hope it doesn't hurt him in the future, because I think next year he's going to come in the spring expecting to make the rotation. But right now he's looking a lot better out of the bullpen, so I think the Yankees are going to try some Java stuff with him, or they already have done it.
Well, he's I wouldn't say he's been terrible starting. Obviously not great, but he's been okay. Just looking, so his previous start, 2 runs over 4 1/3 innings. I think he could have been stretched out to 5 innings there, but he's still not been too bad at all. I mean, his ERA is still very, very good, 2.82 for the year. I just don't think the Yankees trust him to go terribly long, but I still want him to be our 5th starter next year.
No, I think his next start, you'll see him get more length. I just think and it's also his innings. We're not going to see him.
I'm talking about Clark Schmidt. I'm not talking about Cortez.
Okay. You want to see Clark Schmidt as your 5th? So who are you getting rid of?
I want Clark Schmidt to be
they've been using him as a
year.
bullpen.
I want Clark Schmidt.
He's going to be a bullpen on next year.
Not with Tyone being a free agent, Sevy potentially getting his option taken away. Right there, you only have Cole, Montas, Cortez, and Herman. You got room for a 5th starter there.
You could easily make him a 5th starter if you wanted to.
Yeah. No, because I think they're going to sign somebody. I don't think they're going to just slide him in. The Yankees don't do that.
Well, the Yankees don't like paying big money to
It's the
free
difference
agents.
between what we want them to do and what they will do.
They did it this past year. They had Cortez, and we wanted a free agent pitcher, and they put Cortez in that spot.
That's a good point, too.
which ended up being a good
wanted
move.
Verlander, and they went with Cortez.
We've not signed a significant free agent in about 10 years. So apart from Garrett Cole, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees look internally. I think they should, because let's not forget there's the Aaron Judge contract, and we know how tight Hal Steinbrenner is with the wallet. So if they're gonna say allocate like 40 AAV to Aaron Judge, then that doesn't leave too much room to attack other areas. So I think you'd probably look for a cost-effective back end of the rotation, and Clark Schmidt would be perfect for that.
He fits the mold as a number 5 starter. If you go into next year with Cole, Montas, Nestor, Herman, Schmidt doesn't look good, because I don't know if Herman keeps this up. I still think they should bring back Sevy on a cheaper deal. I think he'd come back. I would love for them to go after Rodon in free agency, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just think they're going to try to save money because, like you just said, they're going to pay Judge, and they still got to worry about Donaldson's money they're paying, and Stanton and Cole, and they got this budget. So if they're going to do anything with the pitching, it's going to be internally. And they do have some arms that they like coming up, guys like Will Warren and Gomez, who got called up recently to AAA. So they like some of their young arms.
Rob, so glad you're back today, because I wanted to ask you about what your thoughts of Mr. Levine's comments about the Yankees. I assume you read them. What did you think?
Is this about the shortstop where he said Cashman never approached him?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that he said. Yeah.
Well, that was the one that really stuck out to me, was he said that Cashman never approached him about signing a free agent shortstop, which he said in the beginning of the offseason it was a priority, right?
Yeah. So what do you believe? Do you think that's the truth, or do you think that Cashman was just being cheap?
I think he figured out at some point he didn't want to spend the money. Yeah. He probably went into the offseason thinking we can get one of them, and then he saw that they were going to – we saw what Seager got. Seager got 32, I think, and Correa got 33. So he probably said, I'm not paying that for a shortstop because they like their guys.
What's up, Miguel? Thanks so much for tuning in, man.
Yeah, I finished my point. I was waiting.
No, we went into it yesterday with Randy Levine, and his approach, especially when talking with the public and the media, he needs to just shut up. I think he makes things worse, but by trying to explain everything, he puts himself in a deeper hole. Yankee fan, I'm no expert, but please explain batting Hicks leadoff and Peraza 9. Yeah, and Volpe's on fire. He's ready.
He's 500. Yeah, 100%.
No, I don't think they will or should bring Volpe up at this point. But next year he better be right into spring training. Volpe better be in those lineups. As far as with the lineup, I don't know what Boone was thinking. Hicks put a couple of good at bats together, some lengthy at bats, and now all of a sudden he's a leadoff hitter. That's just Boone's logic. The computer says this is the lineup to put out, and that's what they do. They don't second guess it. Well, and that's how they always did it.
If you look at our lineups, this is the one thing that the Mets have that the Yankees don't. Mets have consistency. Who's playing where and in what position in the lineup. And 9 times out of 10, they play every day. I've yet to see any evidence that it hurts them because the Yankees love to rest guys in case of a future injury. But you've just seen that the entire Yankee roster is now injured, and that's with them resting everybody on a daily basis rotationally. But the Mets and the Braves and the Astros and you name it, and the Dodgers, they have a consistent lineup that they send out every day, and where Mookie Betts bats, where where everyone bats in the lineup. But Aaron Boone does things differently, or I should say the analytics I shouldn't say Aaron Boone because he's just a mouthpiece for the organization. Michael Fishman, the analytics guy in the organization, I think he runs the whole show in terms of the lineups, and they like to rest everybody on a daily basis. So one day you'll have Aaron Judge batting leadoff, another day you'll have him batting second, third, fourth, fifth. Who knows? Perez is up, down like a yo-yo. That's just the way they like to do things. I've always been against that. I'm an old school fan. I've been watching them to the Yankees since the late '90s, and I fully embrace that you need to have consistency, consistent lineups, consistent positions, and then you'll get more consistent at bats because everybody knows exactly what their role is. But I do understand there's injuries, etc. But even still, I don't think the expectations should change, and you should still keep whichever regulars are healthy in the same position so that you can get some consistency.
Yeah, when you're looking at the amount of injuries that we have, how can you keep it consistent? And we could go back and second guess every lineup that we had all year. But when we were on a tear and everything was being rotated around, we were going, all right, this is working. You're giving people different roles, and they were playing through our expectations and mulling through everybody. But
so you disagree, Tats? Is that what you're saying? You disagree?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think the lineup is what it's going to be. Do I like that they do it this way? No, but when you're looking at it in the now with this series, what other lineup is he supposed to try to put together?
Well, okay, but I was talking in general, man, because as my point is, I understand there's injuries, but the expectation shouldn't change, and the regulars who are there should probably be in the same position as they've been all year long. I don't think that people being up and down all over the lineup actually helps them at all, because as I pointed out, there's a whole bunch of teams that are better than us that just are more consistent.
No, consistency. We've been saying. I always said I agree with you. Almost all year that the line. That we've been saying the lineups need to have consistency. I agree with that. But we can't tear apart the lineups when we have 5 key players that are not even available to play. So that's where you have to, be a little more. We need to step back and evaluate the situation day by day. Because it's
of course, but I mean, we were discussing this issue for the last couple of days. I am talking in general. We know the limitations of the lineup. I am not necessarily criticizing the lineup. I'm just talking about how the Yankees seem to think that preventing injuries is going to help them in the long run, but there's no evidence that actually works because just we're now for probably the entire team's on the IL. So it really doesn't work.
No, Rob. Let's move on because we're just going to keep going back and forth, and we're not going to. We're just going to make it just even. It's going to suck. It's a
good debate, Rob. What's your point? What's your thoughts on this?
On the lineup?
Well, no, but in general, whether the Yankees whether the Yankees thinking that they can rest guys in order to prevent future injuries actually works, or do you think there's actually a lot of nonsense?
It hasn't worked, so
exactly.
Look at the guys on the IL. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work, but they haven't had lineup consistency for about 2 months now. So, I mean, if they're trying to prevent injuries, who's been prevented from getting hurt? Like a lot of these guys are getting hit. Like Carpenter fouled a ball off his foot. Resting's not going to help that get prevented. So, it's just you can't really especially when you're struggling, you got to have your best players out there every day.
Well, I'm a Oriole fan, but I must say in the next 4 days I'm a Yankee fan because the Orioles, what a story the Baltimore Orioles are. I think the Baltimore Orioles manager should be in the running for manager of the year. The guy probably needs the keys to Baltimore for what he's managing to do with this roster. They're amazing. They're competitive. I think everyone preseason, I'm not even going to speak for Tony because maybe you had higher expectations, but I think we all thought they were going to be a last place team. And they have been sensational. And the fact that they're even in the playoff hunt is a testament to the organization, how they're run, their manager, so many good things. So I can't say enough about the Baltimore Orioles. Looks like they've got a bright future. Although I didn't like them trading Mancini. I didn't like that too much.
No.
Okay, Mets fan since 1982. It's a long time. Rest does not prevent injuries. Thank you very, very much. Exactly my point.
No, you can't expect everybody to just they don't play every day anymore. Nobody plays 162 games. I think the only player that really consistently plays every day is Whit Merrifield. And other than him, nobody plays for a full week. Nobody.
Well, I mean, the Mets and the Astros and the Dodgers have played guys a lot more than we do.
Well, because we're smarter than them.
Yeah, right. And we're how many games behind them? And we're how many games behind them in the standings?
So, whatever.
Whatever.
It's a round robin discussion. We're just going to keep going back and forth with it. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing, they're not going to change the way they are. Sometimes, just like, this is just the way that the Yankees are going to operate. Does it work? No. But they will never change unless there is a complete change from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And Cashman he's an honorary Steinbrenner. He's going to be here for the rest of his freaking life. So this is just the Yankee baseball we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I don't like it.
He's not now I'm getting aggravated.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It sucks. It sucks when you're coming into the ballpark and now you got me going. It sucks when you get into the ballpark and you don't know where the hell you're going to be playing in the field. You don't know where you're going to be in the lineup. You're expected to play at a peak performance every day. That's BS. It doesn't work. If you're the center fielder and you're playing, you're going to bat in the 3 spot. That's where you go. You don't even have to look at the card in the lineup. You automatically know on your drive to the stadium, on your way to work, you already know I'm the center fielder and I bat third. No, it's not a card that it's not. You can't just throw the cards up in the air and be like, okay, well, the center fielder today is going to play catcher and we're going to bat him ninth. That's almost like what the Yankees do, and it sucks. It's not baseball. That's not what we grew up playing. When we were in Little League, they very rarely even switched your position unless you asked for it. And even
finally, that's my only point, man. That's my only point.
You're playing.
That was my only point. So you finally agreed. It was good to get you riled up there. That was fun. Also, we can take a step further. We can take it a step further. It's not too much fun for the fans who pay a fortune to go to the stadium and you don't know if your favorite player is going to play. That's another freaking thing too.
No, that's the other problem. It is the rest days.
It is, exactly.
It really is. Because, and the other, see, now you brought up something else that I had on my mind. These freaking intentional walks to Judge. Yes, it is smart baseball, but baseball is not helping itself by allowing all these intentional walks.
Oh, come on. What?
Oh,
no, you just killed it, man.
You ruined it. You had a really good rant there, and then you ruined it with that. That is just smart baseball. Why would you pitch to Aaron Judge when you can pitch to Gleyber Torres?
That's what I'm saying.
If Aaron Judge was playing for the opposite team, we would be begging our manager to deliberately walk him.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying it's smart baseball, but it's not good for the game.
What can baseball do about that? Hey, pitch to him.
There's nothing.
Exactly. You have to pitch to him.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I really do.
God. Wrap it up, Tats.
All right. Oh, what a Friday it's been. You have been watching the Pinstripe Chronicles on Northeast Streaming Sports and listening on SportsY Radio. Just remember, wear your pinstripes with pride, play hard. Don't forget to tune in Sunday at 11 for the Upper Deck Show with Chris and Lynn. Have a good weekend.